Think about this. A financial crisis so powerful, it's built to start not in Wall Street, not in Silicon Valley, but in the countries the West often overlooks, the global South. And what if I told you that the battle for this economic future is unfolding right now, led by a hidden financial weapon called Project mBridge? It's a move that could strip the US dollar of its throne, triggering a seismic shift in how global power is controlled. So, what exactly is Project mBridge? Project mBridge is a powerful, multi-central bank digital currency initiative developed by BRICS and supported by a few non-BRICS countries, including the United Arab Emirates and Thailand. It's essentially a blockchain-powered network designed to facilitate seamless international transactions without needing the US dollar. Imagine a secure direct connection where nations can trade instantly and affordably, bypassing the traditional banking intermediaries that rely on the dollar. According to The Economist, financial analysts suggest mBridge is one of the most ambitious moves yet to decentralize international finance. Its goal is straightforward: to reduce dependency on Western-controlled financial systems and empower developing nations to stand independently. But what's stirring up such fierce opposition from the IMF and World Bank? Why would they want this project shut down? For decades, the IMF and World Bank have played a central role in global finance, often setting policies that shape entire economies. To them, mBridge isn't just a digital currency project, it's a direct threat to their influence over developing nations. In a post from the Financial Times, economist Sarah Fisher argued, mBridge is viewed as a counter-move against IMF and World Bank policies, potentially weakening their control over international credit markets. In short, mBridge empowers countries to find capital and financial support without needing IMF loans or World Bank programs, reducing Western leverage over these economies. But what role does the Bank for International Settlements play in this showdown? Please like and subscribe. Your support helps us grow. Thank you. The BIS initially supported mBridge's development, offering technical resources and funding. However, recent hints from BIS officials suggest they're concerned that mBridge's success could destabilize global finance, code for disrupting the dollar's dominance. Financial analysts from the Wall Street Journal noted, the BIS, originally a champion of decentralized finance, now seems hesitant about any project that could threaten dollar stability. It's a delicate position for the BIS, which claims neutrality yet has roots intertwined with Western financial interests. If the BIS is backing away, what makes the US so alarmed about BRICS Plus's plans? The dollar isn't just currency, it's power. By holding the world's reserve currency, the US wields immense influence globally. A shift to a decentralized blockchain system, however, reduces that power, making it harder for the US to control sanctions and other financial mechanisms. As Bloomberg finance expert Michael Green put it, if mBridge succeeds, the dollar's influence in global finance could be significantly weakened. This shift would not only reduce America's economic influence, but also complicate foreign policy moves that rely on dollar-backed sanctions. Does this BRICS Plus financial shift risk undermining democracy itself? Critics argue that decentralized financial systems might favor authoritarian regimes within BRICS Plus, where accountability can be less transparent. This creates a risk of financial ecosystems that operate outside traditional democratic oversight. According to the Washington Post, political expert James Carter remarked, "A shift to such financial independence could tilt power toward undemocratic leaders who can control resources without external checks." So, why is Saudi Arabia supporting this? What could it mean for the West? Saudi Arabia's interest in mBridge isn't just about partnerships, it's about escaping dollar dependence. As one of the world's top oil exporters, Saudi Arabia can significantly shift its trade agreements if it can transact outside the dollar. A recent piece from Reuters reveals that Saudi leaders view mBridge as a way to enhance economic autonomy and avoid the volatility tied to dollar exchange rates. Did U.S. policy around the dollar push the world to seek these alternatives? In recent decades, the U.S. has used dollar sanctions as a primary tool for foreign policy. This tactic, while effective in the short term, has pushed countries like Russia, China, and Iran to seek out alternative financial systems. Harvard economist Amy Collins wrote in the New York Times, "Sanctions have turned the dollar into both a weapon and a vulnerability. Many nations now view alternatives as insurance against American policy shifts." Could BRICS Plus be spearheading a full-on financial revolution? Let's consider what BRICS Plus is actually creating with mBridge. This isn't just about transactions. It's about building a whole new financial ecosystem that bypasses the dollar entirely. BRICS Plus is pioneering what could be called a financial revolution, one that challenges the conventional power structures centered around the West. Think of mBridge as more than a payment system. It's a gateway to independence for countries often at the mercy of dollar-backed systems. The implications here aren't just economic, they're geopolitical. As the Wall Street Journal points out, by creating this alternate financial infrastructure, BRICS Plus opens the door to a world where the dollar's dominance could be questioned, reshaping how global economies align. But here's a question. If mBridge is proving this powerful, what would happen if the West decided to shut it down? Could it ironically fuel the dollar's own decline? Strangely enough, shutting down mBridge could backfire. If the West moves to block this alternative, it might only highlight the need for it even more, encouraging other nations to create or seek out even more decentralized alternatives. In fact, recent findings in the Harvard Business Review suggest that financial restrictions often spark even stronger demand for alternative systems. If mBridge is curtailed, it's not inconceivable that another, possibly even more resilient platform could emerge from BRICS Plus. Nations around the world could rally around a new system, further eroding the dollar's hold. But who really gains, and who stands to lose if mBridge is brought down? Let's explore the impact on both sides. If mBridge is dismantled, it's a win for traditional Western banking systems, which rely on dollar dominance to maintain control. However, the real losers would be developing nations that saw mBridge as a bridge, quite literally, to financial independence and fairer trade practices. An analysis by Reuters estimates that over $1 trillion in trade could potentially flow through mBridge over the next decade if it were allowed to continue. For BRICS Plus countries and other developing economies, this project represents billions in untapped potential. Now, what role is the media playing in this financial conflict? And how are Western outlets framing this narrative? In the Western media, Vladimir Putin is often portrayed as the face of the anti-dollar movement, with BRICS painted as a threat to Western stability. But here's the question. By positioning Putin as the antagonist, is the media simplifying a complex, multifaceted alliance into a single villain story? This kind of framing can overshadow the broader aims of BRICS Plus, sidelining leaders from countries like India, Brazil, and South Africa, who are also pushing for a shift in global power dynamics. According to a Washington Post analysis, while Putin's role is significant, reducing BRICS to a one-man show does a disservice to the nuanced coalition that is actively seeking financial sovereignty. But does this opposition hint at something larger, a modern form of financial neocolonialism? The idea of neocolonialism suggests that while traditional colonialism has faded, economic control continues in new forms. By keeping BRICS Plus projects like mBridge out, Western nations could effectively be extending economic control over developing countries, maintaining a dependency on the dollar and Western financial systems. In recent discussions at the Council on Foreign Relations, economist Dr. Lisa Graham argued, the opposition to mBridge could be seen as an effort to sustain an economic imbalance, where developing nations remain bound to Western-dominated systems rather than building their own paths to growth. But could mBridge really provide economic growth opportunities for these nations? For the Global South, mBridge offers more than just an alternative currency. It represents the chance for financial empowerment. By allowing these countries to bypass dollar-based transactions, mBridge can lower transaction fees, reduce currency volatility, and open up new pathways for trade. According to Bloomberg Economics, mBridge could reduce international transaction costs by up to 30%, making it easier for smaller economies to participate in global trade without hemorrhaging money on exchange fees. But how is China's role within BRICS Plus affecting the Western financial system's sense of stability? China's technological dominance within BRICS Plus is a primary concern for Western financial institutions. China is a digital powerhouse, leading innovations in blockchain and payment systems. By integrating this technology into mBridge, BRICS Plus has the potential to create an infrastructure that could rival or even outperform traditional Western systems. Technology strategist Ben McCall of the Wall Street Journal notes, China's involvement in mBridge adds a layer of technological sophistication that could give BRICS Plus a competitive edge against Western financial institutions. So why exactly is the BIS, once a supporter of mBridge, now voicing opposition? Let's dive into their concerns. The BIS initially backed mBridge, but recent signals show they're now reconsidering. Official statements imply that mBridge might destabilize the dollar-centric system, a system the BIS has long maintained as essential to global financial stability. According to financial analyst Jordan McKinney from The Economist, the BIS fears that mBridge could become too powerful, offering countries an attractive way to trade outside the dollar, which would destabilize the BIS-backed currency balance. But how will mBridge's potential shutdown impact the global movement for economic sovereignty? If mBridge is halted, the idea of true economic sovereignty for the Global South could suffer a severe blow. The mBridge initiative was a step toward autonomy for nations that have often been sidelined in the global economy. As Financial Times economist Richard Tao observed, dismantling mBridge won't just delay economic independence. It could stymie the global effort to reduce reliance on the dollar. But if mBridge is blocked, what's next for BRICS Plus? Could they still forge a new financial order? If mBridge is taken down, BRICS Plus may simply move on to another form of financial integration. They have the resources, the technology, and the political will to create an entirely new system that operates independently of the dollar, with or without mBridge. This could mean an even more robust alternative financial order that Western nations may struggle to control. Picture this, a world where mBridge not only survives but thrives, where countries across Asia, Africa, and Latin America are free from dollar dependence, creating a multipolar economy no longer under US control. That's the endgame BRICS Plus is envisioning, and it's a future that could come sooner than we think. This financial revolution could rewrite the rules, but it's only beginning. Please like and subscribe. Check out another video that is now on your screen.